G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 24 of my Piercing Blademaster playthrough with Stabatha. Now, last episode, we finished the base game in Ultimate Difficulty, so the Logorian is now dead, and we just have the expansions left to do. Now, if you've been playing along, I'm going to be honest, you're in a really good spot to just go ahead and finish. There isn't a whole lot of interesting things left to talk about on the road to 100. It's 22 levels. At level 84, you're going to want to get new weapons. Probably want to replace any other monster infrequents you have. The Coven stuff, if you're still using this will be replaced by the Elite Coven stuff at level 90 from the same vendors. And then basically just update things as you go along, and you're just going to get there and it'll be fine. Now, obviously, there are going to be bosses along the way, so you may want to watch along for that as well. And from what I've been told, some of you just enjoy playing along for the sake of it. But there is not going to be any massive revelations or big changes to the build. It's largely done. The Nightblade side of things is going to stay pretty much how it is. And the soldier thing, we're just going to get Oleron's Rage, get 1 point and break morale, max out War Cry, max out Blindside, and we'll probably run out of points around about then. If not, it will be likely adding points into Nightblade Mastery stuff. A few more in Ring of Steel wouldn't be bad, that's just more damage. But we are pretty much done for the build. With that said, though, there is still more stuff to do. So let's go and head over to the Burrich Village, and we're going to start heading into the Gloomwald. Now, Gloomwald is easily the best area in the game, in my opinion. My favorite area to farm, and just generally a really cool place. A lot of people... How do I put this? A lot of people have told me that the first time through the Gloomwald was super scary, super spooky, and yes, absolutely, that was my first impression of the area as well. Definitely very spooky, but that's kind of... that's what it looks like because that's how it's designed, you know? So, yes, it is a bit spooky, but it's kind of a good thing, right? Marauder's Gloves. I don't think I'm going to use those. They're gun things, aren't they? Yeah, gun stuff. We don't do gun stuff around here. We're all about stabbing people with long pointy sticks, not really small pointy sticks that we shoot out of a cannon. Alright. The next item that I'm looking for is going to be the +1 to soldier skills belt. That is going to drop from the big giant crab, Caraxus Fel. So we are going to get through this section decently quickly, and then I'm going to see what drops, and I will probably farm something nice in between episodes, just so you don't have to watch another farming episode. But, well, we'll see how we go. I know a lot of people do like the farming episodes, so you can watch me suffer. Kill the crab 30 times to finally get a belt that's just slightly better than the one I already had. Yeah, there's definitely some people who enjoy that, I'm sure. I think, you know, suffering shared is suffering halved, or however that saying goes. It's, streamer luck is definitely not a thing. Right, so Gloomwald. I've gone through this several times now, but the basic run through here is always the same for me. There are definitely better ways to do this, especially if we're looking at better ways to farm this area. The best way to farm it is actually to do pretty much what I do, but in reverse. I am, unfortunately, slightly retarded, and if I spin the camera, I immediately get lost. So I don't do it the most efficient way, because the most efficient way is actually to start from the north at the what's that called, Riftgate, and to run south. But like I said, as soon as I spin the camera, I get lost. So I do it the less efficient way that I can actually, you know, make it happen, so to speak. What do we got there? Flamekeeper's Jacket. Also got this guy being a painful. Alright. Revered with Homestead. You know what that means? Same thing it meant last time we did it. Not a whole lot. If we need fire or cold resistance, it's good. If we need pierce resistance, it's good. I think we're okay for all of that. Piercing, maybe, depending on what items we get. The big one that I'm really looking forward to. I think I just saw something. No, it is already done. The big one I'm really looking forward to is Black Legion. Once we get Black Legion to revered, any kind of Aether or Chaos or Poison or Piercing resistance issues that you may have had, yeah, they just go away. Alright, so Nane's Stash here, you're definitely going to want to pick that up for Ultimate. That is the start of the quest that gives you access to Lokar, and eventually, unless you're some weirdo like I am and never actually uses Lokar set, eventually you will want to get the Lokar set just for speed leveling, or even just to say you did. Lokar is kind of the first benchmark, I guess, for like how good is my build. If your build can't kill Lokar, then the answer is not really. So Lokar is definitely something you want to be getting access to and eventually killing. Okay, I think that is, yep. There's a lot of goop on the ground there, but that's kind of fine. Okay, what do we get? The Hood of Dreeg and the Wraithbone Sash are not items that I particularly care about. Nane's Stash we've already read, so that can go as well. Once you've picked it up, you get the quest, the Gloomwald Stash here, and you don't need to hang on to it. These are pretty good gloves, actually. Why is that not showing me what they are? There we go. Of Dark Intent is actually very rare suffix. I see this occasionally, but really not very often. But getting that Doombolt on attack on an item is really good. I think this might actually be gloves only. Am I crazy there? Hang on, I want to check now. But I definitely want to get that. Dark Intent. Let's pick up the blues as well. So this is, yeah, it's gloves only on the Dark Intent. And like I said, I do see it occasionally, but I don't think I saw it at all when I've been playing a Vitality build or a Vitality caster, where it would actually be good. I think I got one when I was doing the Chaos, Albrecht's Chaos Ray character. I think I got one there. What is going on here? You need to go. Alright, so we've got healers. Obviously the healers need to die, and I'm going to kill all the little things in the area. A lot of these ghosts and the rest of it is being spawned by Avarice here. And Avarice can be a little bit scary, actually. Can do a decent amount of damage. And if there's any of the Wraith Callers and such in the area, a lot of the cultists will just heal her. So you do have to watch out for that. That was a very messy fight, actually. I really did not give a good showing there. Shrapnel gun, great for a pistol purifier, if you are so inclined. That character just keeps coming up recently. Seal of Skies, not what I'm looking for, but it is a blueprint that is worth having, for sure. Alright, I think we can leave the rest. More meat for the stew, yep. That'd be your body going into the stew. Alright, and I'll grab the secret hidden loot here as well. Did I get it all? It's usually 2 in here, I think. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the 1. You can often get a pack in here with a hero crab that is, and that's definitely worth killing if you're playing a soldier, because the +1 to soldier skills belt comes from the crabs that are alive. Where are my heroes? You can definitely get like 5 to 7 heroes just outside this house here, and I got 0. So, I don't know what's going on there. I don't have the quest active, obviously, so the Handaroth and Uvaloth, or whichever one of them it is that spawns there, that can't happen. But you can still have, I want to say 3 other heroes there. It might be 5. You can also get Pakla, who I already killed. So you can get a lot of stuff there. Unfortunately, I got nothing. I've been robbed. Alright, let's get out of that goop. Take these guys out. It's going to put more goop on the ground. I think I'm standing in the goop here. So I think it's definitely time to get out of that. And you can see why I constantly tell you that I'm hiding the loot. It really is just so as I can see what's going on. What do we got? Mark of Infernal Misery. Nothing else here I think is particularly amazing. Prismatic is decent. No. We'll just pick it all up. There we go. Alright, a few more crabs over here. Not sure why they're all bleeding all over the place. What happened there? Anyway, they're all bleeding all over the place right now. So problem solved. I do like to duck to the left in this little section here. There is a rotting stump here, and as I mentioned back in the normal run through here, you want to stock up on Ugdenbloom while you're in the process of leveling, because you're going to need 100 plus of them once you get to... Here we go. Once you get to level 100 and you want to start making things like the Ugdenbloom or Ugdenbog leather, stuff like that, a lot of the max level components and stuff use a decent number of those rarer components, so you definitely want to collect them while you're going through here if you can, because you're probably going to have to farm them, and starting from 50 is a whole lot better than starting from 30. Damn near died there. I mean, I didn't even touch my healing potion, so I was probably fine, but yeah, triggered the diamond, so death saves have been triggered. Alright, I do need to go back for Daddy. Seems to hate himself for some reason. We're just going to stuff him into a rift gate and be on our way. So I'm going to do Nane's stash. Now, you can save it for later if you want to do Lokar all in one hit, but, I mean, realistically, you don't gain anything by doing that, so I'm just going to do it now. And we'll call it good. So it's going to cost me a dynamite to get in there. It's probably worth it because of the Exalted stash, and it's definitely worth it because of the access to Lokar. Well, there's some XP. That's level 79, and we picked up the Death Lord's Shroud, which is... where did it go? There it is. Death Lord's Band, sorry. I told a lie. Vitality and bleeding stuff. One day I'm going to make it Conjurer. One day. Chance to fumble, chance for impaired aim there on the proc, some vitality and bleeding damage. That's actually a pretty good ring. Level 84. There are obviously better rings because resistance shredding rings exist and the Magi rings exist. They probably shouldn't be as good as they are because it really does skew the items you have available to make a build. It just, a lot of the time it comes down to, do you have the rings that shred enemy resistances? Yes, use those. Do you not? Are you playing cold? Yes, if you're playing cold, get Alchemist rings. Are you playing a tanky build that you would rather survive rather than do damage? Okay, use the Judasar rings. Otherwise, Magi rings. Is there an MI? I mean, I guess there are ring options, but I definitely feel pigeonholed with a lot of my builds. Getting wrecked in there. Probably reflecting. I didn't see the reflect enemy, but there was definitely a lot of icons, and I was absolutely getting wrecked. Alright, what do we got? Phantom Thread Girdle. No. Vortex of Souls, it's a gun. It's actually a pretty good gun. The blueprint here, the Glyph of Ravenous Wendigo. I do actually use that on one of my Death Knights. Can we sort this out so it's a little bit less silly. Probably not easily. Whatever. Just pick it all up. I'm gonna probably, yeah. Yep. Gonna probably have to go and vendor things. Absolutely am. Could probably turn off random rares as well at this point. What do we got? +1 to Nightblade. This is a one-handed axe. I mean, it's cold. Yeah, no. We are getting close to the point where we're going to start getting max level legendary items as well. 75 is not, but level 84 is definitely something you want to hang on to. This could be used in a kind of end game, quote unquote, build. So any level 84 legendaries you may wish to keep. Anything level 83 or lower is just a leveling item though. And I'm just not going to be keeping any items except for the ones that I think are going to be useful for the character that I'm playing. Alright, let's bank all this and get back to it. 8 little flowers to go in the pile. Can't complain about that. Do I want to change these pants? I do want the armor. I think I need the Aether and Elemental resistances though. I don't need the Elemental. Okay. I do need the Aether though. And I can't take that Wardstone off. I mean, I can, but then it's going to break my elemental resistance. Okay. We just leave it for now. What are we up to? Cunning. Let's take that to 37. I have skill points. I should probably spend them. How many are we up to now? 48. So one more level will get us to 50. And then the next level, I'll probably put 1 point in... Will I put one in Break Morale? I might just put them both into Oleron's Rage, get this maxed out as quickly as I can. The move speed, offensive ability are really good. Ideally, I'd like to use Many as Bulwark. Unfortunately, this requires a shield or a two-handed weapon, which we're not using, so I don't get to use that. Not really sure why you can't use it while dual wielding. They probably didn't want to give you too much durability on a high damage kind of play style, I guess we'll call it. I'm sure it was a design decision, and it's probably just that. They didn't want to allow you to get too tanky while dual wielding. Alright, so I do normally farm this area a decent bit more, but I think we just push forward here. Now, this section as well, the Gloomwald, I am going to do the start, or the first half, of the Ugdenbloom farming route that I have done way too many times to count. Actually, I can't even call this the first half. This is maybe the first quarter of the route, because the route goes through the Ugdenbog as well, and you actually end up in the Ancient Grove at the end of it. I can't remember where I stole it from, but I didn't come up with this run. I absolutely stole this from someone on the interwebs. Apologies for not being able to give credit, but yeah, this is not my route. It's something that I found probably from a random Google search, and I have no idea who it was. But yep, we'll get that one, we'll get that one. We'll come down here under this bridge. There'll be an ambush, which you can fight or ignore. I recommend fighting it because you are often going to get Ugdenblooms from killing these big tree golem things. There's no ambush. I mean, this was a trap instead of a chest, but there's usually a whole bunch of them kind of here-ish that just pop up out of the ground and attack you. But they weren't there today, which is unusual. I mean, I'll take it. I actually would rather fight them because they potentially drop things, but that's fine. We'll go around here, we'll get this one. There's +1 Ugdenbloom. So we've got 1 from popping, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the stumps. And then the last stump is just over here. If you keep running along this way, you'll get to this section where you get to see daylight again. which is quite nice. And we've got the last one here. Now, normally if I was doing the run, I would rift up to the Ugdenbog and start running back south towards the Ancient Grove. You kind of run southish and then cut into the Ancient Grove. I don't have access to that yet, so I'm not going to be doing that, obviously. I'm also probably not going to go into the Ancient Grove. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in there, and not really any need for me to go in, so decent chance I just ignore it. I probably should play another skater at some point, just to force myself to go and farm those skeleton key dungeons, because I don't generally go in there. One place I do go, however, is Caraxes' house. Here we go. We should get a couple of Ugdenblooms from all these tree golem things. I say as they drop exactly 0. The tree golems definitely can drop them. Just a case of actually getting them to do it. The heroes like this one, he's more likely. Yeah, he dropped one there. There's another one, so you can get them mostly from the guys with yellow names, but it is possible. Alright, Caraxes Val here, he's got a nice belt for me. It's going to fix all of my resistance issues. You're not going to believe how good this is. Warding of the Gildum Arcanum. Okay, Impervious of Arcane Balance. Well, maybe. Let's have a look at it. Get Crush Wormhole, no. The rest of this stuff, no. Alright, what do we got? We have actually a godly amount of resistances on this. That is probably one of the higher numbers of total resistances I've ever seen on an item. Especially if you split Elemental into Fire, Cold, and Lightning. You're already up to 75%. You're at 103, 129, 129 plus another 111. I mean, yeah. 140 odd, or sorry, 240 odd percent increased resistances plus 10% extra armor. This is a very good belt, and I will absolutely be keeping it. Once I get to 82, I will probably wear that, because by that stage we will likely have access to the Black Legion stuff, and then once we can put Black Legion augments on all of our armor, that'll fix Aether and Chaos resistances, and then I can put this on. Yeah, I don't need to farm this guy, I'm done. You definitely can farm him, and if you do, there is often... Ooh, double rare. There is often a totem just over here as well, which you can farm for random loot and XP and stuff. Definitely worth giving it a bash. Let's get out of here, though. I am very happy with that belt. I would even say that's better than what I said I wanted, the warding of the Gildum Arcanum. That would have fixed any Aether issues, Aether resistance issues. Then I would have got Revered with the Black Legion and just not needed it, so I'm very glad that I got that belt. It is going to be quite hard to replace that belt. It's going to be crazy hard to replace that belt. Alright, Pakla's already dead, so I'm not too worried about this section. Generally speaking, when you have to worry about various areas around here is when you haven't killed Pakla yet, and when you have got the Wendigo quest from Barrowholm active. Because then you get a pack of 3 heroes and Pakla, and you get one of the hero Wendigos, and they're all right next to each other, and you've got a Defender, you've got a Regenerator, you've got a Vampiric and 2 Corrupted. It can stack up and get ugly quickly, but on their own, not so much. Okay, we have made it to the Coven. So I'm going to go ahead and vendor a whole bunch of stuff, which I don't think I'm going to need almost any of this. In fact, I'm definitely not going to need it, because if I did, I would have already used it. Did I just sell something I wanted? I did not. Okay. I do sometimes sell things that I actually want, just because I'm clicking through it so quickly to kind of try and hurry it up. Because let's be honest, vendoring stuff is not exactly riveting viewing. Okay, we have a deal. Huh, I was expecting a second quest there. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a while. Alright, let's grab this quest as well. Get the missing sisters. You don't need to pick that one up. I don't know why I pick it up, because I know exactly where they are. Anyway, it's fine. Alright, so we are heading through to the Barrowholm. Probably got 5 or 6 more episodes on this character, assuming I don't add in any extra farming episodes or whatnot. So, actually looking forward to something new. Not that this character is boring, it's actually been pretty good. One of the more successful Nightblades that I've played, in my opinion. But, you know, something new is always fun, right? Always fun to try something new. It's actually a lot of stuff I want to do. I think I mentioned this in the previous episode. The amount of stuff that I want to play is crazy. I barely even scratched the things that I want to play. I am, however, rambling and going the wrong way, so let's get back on track here. I do have kind of like a set route that I go through here. I'm not going back for that. The first thing I'm looking for is the foot, which I'm standing next to right now. You can see it's kind of foot-shaped on the map. There's your heel, there's your big toe, pinky's over here. And the reason I want this is this rotting stump. So I come over here and grab the rotting stump. Then I head up to Janaxia's den. A lot of the times I'll get lost or stuck on this thing for some reason. So we'll grab the quest item. So we'll come up here, we'll kill Janaxia. We don't have the quest for this, but this is one of those quests where you can just do it, and then when they say, oh, hey, we were going to get you to go and kill Janaxia, you can just kind of look at them and be like, yeah, but I already did that, so thanks for the XP. I've got the totem here, which is good. Forsaken. Lots of stuff. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Fight all this at the same time. Definitely want to be having these guys fumbling a lot. Those can very quickly do a lot of damage, so definitely want them fumbling. Alright, what do we got? Essence of Baranath, Amulet, Elemental stuff, not interested. Swamp Dwellers, Leg Guards. Good resistances, good stats. Not really for this build, though. What do we got? That's a gun, that's boots that I don't want, that's a mace that I don't want. Yeah, nothing here. Let's keep that blueprint, though. And then Janaxia. Well, Janaxia has, once again, nothing that we're interested in, but we can go ahead and give her the old beatdown. Untouchable there. Okay. So Untouchable is quite a big shield. Yeah, no. +1 to Inquisitor skills. That's actually a decent amount of Inquisitor stuff on it. But that's fine. You go ahead and keep that one. Well, actually, don't keep it. I'm going to sell it. Alright, so Janaxia is dead. Let's get out of here. All of her little ghosty friends are also pretty much all dead. There's a couple more outside. Sorry, did I say there was a couple more outside? No, they're actually all dead now. And we can head north at this point. This area here is... This is where one of the quest Wendigos is. But we're not at that point just yet. Okay, no corrupted heroes here. I fully expected to see a corrupted hero. Alright, what do we got? Glacier, we don't care. Corruptors, Fuse. Steelheart Girdle is pretty good for Inquisitors. Not really great for us. The Steelheart Girdle here has the flat piercing damage, which I like. Has better armor than I have, which is good. Has different but still quite good resistances, which is great. And it has some Inquisitor stuff on it. Steel Resolve and... well, just Steel Resolve, actually. Overguard is Soldier and Temper is Demolitionist. But I use that on, again, the Purifier. Just keeps coming up. I used that on the Purifier while I was leveling. It's a very good belt. I don't really need to be fighting these, but they do have potentially a quest item that I'm interested in. Didn't drop it though. The alphas have the quest item. You should have been a flower. I am kind of running the reverse flower farming, but not really looking for them. You see I've hit a couple of them now. Ugdenbog, Wasteguard of Squalls, that's the ghost one. The undead crabs drop the +1 to Inquisitor skills belt, so you want to kill the live ones for the soldier one. And I do prefer the soldier one for this build. Our main attack and also a lot of passives are from soldier, so getting +1 soldier is actually more skill points than +1 Nightblade. And it's on the skills that I actually want to overcap. So I do want Cadence overcapped, and I do want Fighting Form, Deadly Momentum. I want those overcapped if I can get it. Because it's the main skill that we're using for damage, getting it overcapped is ideal. So I want 26, 20, 22. 11 is fine until you can get this to 22. And then I also want 22 there as well. I don't know if I'm going to get those numbers, but that's what I want. Whereas stuff in the Nightblade tree, yeah, it's almost as many skill points as the soldier ones would be, but there's nothing that I'm super excited about getting overcapped. All right, we made it. We're halfway. So here's the Ugdenbog Rift. I could go back for Old Mate on the island, but I'm just not going to. I think we'll go kill Silvaria and then be on our way. Okay, lots of crabs here. They're all alive, which is good. Well, they were alive, but they're not the correct rarity. Right, and I am kind of killing these again. I was hoping I'd get one of the hero plants, but wasn't to happen. Okay, we can't do Laria just yet, because you actually do need the quest in order to do her fight. But we can run down here. So I was looking here for the cave. Didn't find it, obviously, because it's not there. There is other locations I will have to go to get my cave. Pretty much at this point, I'm committed to running all the way to Barrowholm and coming back for the cave now. Just because I don't want to run out of the cave, sorry. I hate that place. It's not the worst area in the game, but I really don't like that area. So I'm going to try and... Well, I'm not going to try. I am going to drop a rift outside of it, and then I'm going to go to Barrowholm and then come back. But I do need to find it first, so let's go ahead and start looking. So basically, I'm going to hug this right side of the map, heading north. Never mind. Drop my rift gate, and I'm going to be on my way. I will hit the stump here, though. All of these plants that are alive potentially are heroes, potentially are dropping Ugden blooms. So killing them is definitely not a bad idea. There we go, there's a hero, which had an Ugden bloom, so it is worth killing them. Especially since I just had that little speech about how good it is to farm Ugden blooms while you're leveling, rather than waiting until max level when you realize suddenly that you need a whole bunch of them. But I'm going to leave them for now. I'm also not going to go and do Ugdal. I definitely could, but Ugdal's quest is basically just XP at this point. I don't need the Wendigo Soul like I did in normal, and I don't need the Devotion Shrine that's in there, so we can leave it for a little while. I may do it after I'm done with the Undergrowth. Alright, let's shove you guys into a rift. So that's the Witches found. And we can head north now. If I hadn't found the Undergrowth over there, it would be just over here on the left. There is a tree that is going to have it. Please somebody drop a Leaf Mane Alpha Horn. No, I just need one. Just need the one, guys. I appreciate getting 3 of them in one go, but I only needed the one. Alright, so this little brick here on the map, this is something that I used to be somewhat scared of, because Chupacabra used to have a set spawn location, or he had several spawn locations. They didn't used to work how they do now, and they were a lot more random in terms of... How do I say this? They weren't more random, but they felt like it was... he was hiding just around the corner. In theory, it should feel more like that now, but for whatever reason, maybe I'm just not scared of him anymore, and I may have been at the time, but for whatever reason, he just felt more of like a looming terror, and that was one of the locations where he could spawn, so I was always somewhat scared of that little brick on the map, because you would see occasionally this Nemesis skull on the map, and then, I mean, you've seen him, he's speedy, so run around a corner and there he is. And you would never announce it either. You get the big trumpet or whatever instrument that is, the bong when they spawn now. You didn't used to get that. He would just be eating your face, and the first thing you would know is when you saw him. So I think they used to be scarier when they had a set location that it was just, you had to go find it. Now it's less scary because they kind of announce their presence. Maybe they should turn that noise off. Just be like, surprise, here's Fabius. Would certainly create more rip clips anyway. Where is the hole in the wall for this? Is there one? I swear there is. No, apparently not. I would have sworn there was a hidden loot there, but oh, it turns out I'm wrong. Okay. So we got Silvaria, Queen of the Undergrowth here. Got Priscillary, Queen of the Veggie Patch. There we go. Dead. That was the quest target, so that's all done. There's a lot of bodies around here with minor loot, which you can go ahead and get, but you know what? I'm just going to not, and I'm going to leave. And for the first time in the history of me making Grim Dawn videos, I did not whinge about the reason why I hate that area. You know what? I'm going to leave it like that. I think if you're still watching at this point in the series, then you probably watched the normal version, and I explained it there. Okay. You can buy all this stuff from me. I'm not even going to look at most of this stuff because I don't think it's worth using. And I don't want to see it. Make it go away. What level am I now? 79. I'm about to be 80. Once I turn some quests in, I will be 80. Might even be 80 once I talk to Old Maid here. I think you get a quest completion for remaining friendly. You do not. Okay, that's fine. We'll go pick up these quests. I can go back to the Coven. How are we doing for time? Yeah, I think I can do this. Alright, I could go back to the Coven right now. I'm actually not going to. We are going to do the Barrowholm quests real quick. This section of the game also used to be a lot more scary. Again, because Chupacabra. Once you got access to, or not so much access, but once you got Nemesis with the Beast, he was all through here. Same with the Reaper as well. What do we got? Cunning, and we now have access to Oleron's Rage. I am tempted to go and rip a point out of somewhere to put a point in here, but I think it'll be fine. I think we can just wait for one more level. Level 80, if this is your first hardcore character, there is an achievement for getting level 80 on hardcore, so if you're playing along on hardcore for the first time, congrats to the two people who are doing that. Unfortunately, it is one of the easier achievements to get. You just kind of get it for playing the game on hardcore and not dying. But it is still an achievement. Not many people do it. Alright, let's stuff Old Mate into a rift gate and be on our way here. Now I am looking for, obviously, the cave. It's down there, you can see it on the map. We're going to go in, we're going to kill all of the crabs. Probably all of the everything, if I'm being honest. Just because it's easier to kill everything than it is to just kind of halfway, like, make sure you've got everything, sort of thing. So, what we're looking for specifically is the pit creeper crabs. But, yeah, we're just going to kill everybody. If it moves, we stab it, and if it doesn't, we stab it until it does. There's one pit creeper, that's two. Okay, and make sure you step into every little nook and cranny. This one I don't remember ever having anything spawn in there, but I'm just kind of paranoid that the one time I don't check it, it's going to have a pit creeper in there, and I'm going to fail the quest and have to come back, which I don't want to do. So I'm just going to be a little more thorough than I actually think I need to be. There's the treasure trove, which is good. Got the first potential location. So I'll take that. What do we get? Blood of Chthon and the brain matter. Got another seal, which is pretty good. Seal of Corruption's the Aether version. Definitely a good one to have. And I'm going to go down here and get the crabs out of this little hidey hole. This is the one that messed me up a few times. I didn't know they were in there for several runs through here, so that was fun. I think the correct word is obnoxious, but we'll call it fun. You know, we play games for fun. All right, next location, just here. You could have a treasure trove there. Do I want to do the devotion shrine? I think I will. I'll turn the loot off again so I can see what's going on. Lots of Ugdenblooms there. You'll love to see it. And we've got the Scion of Noxious Wounds, a one-handed sword. Poison stuff, +1 to Necromancer. Vitality poison proc. Not horrible, not great. Stoneface of the Fox is also not horrible, not great. The Fox being the Cunning and Spirit there. Stone-faced, obviously, being extra armor. That's a 17% armor increase. That's actually pretty crazy on one item. But the rest of this we can turn into iron bits later on. And of course I'm going to grab the loot. Especially the hidden loot, because that's more fun. Quick draw gloves. It's actually got Force Wave on it. How about that? Can't use the proc with Force Wave, but anyway. 2 more levels and I'll get a nice shiny new belt. Hopefully by that point we will be into the City of Malmouth, although having said that, I think we'll probably need a couple more, or we'll probably be level 83 or 84 by the time I get to the city and actually start getting that Black Legion reputation. But we'll see what happens. Okay, Pit Creeper's here. We do have some more loot in the walls, which, I mean, I love the loot in the walls. It's one of my favorite things. I think everybody's dead there. Let's see if there was anybody in the floor over here. Could be a totem and a treasure trove just there as well. So, can pick those up if they are there. Lots of ghost crabs here, it's unfortunate. The ghost crabs are not going to drop me potentially a nice shiny belt. Okay, I think all the crabs are dead now. Be some more hidden in the floor up here. There they go. I did the add up on all of the weapon pull skills for the character as well. Turns out we're at 99% chance. So that's close enough as to make basically no difference. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, I am standing in a lot of goop right now. It's probably time to get out of that. And what do we get? Shrewd of Amarasta's Flurry. So we got some piercing stuff. Or I guess it's cold, isn't it? Amarasta's Blade Burst. Cold. Aether to Elemental conversion. Shrewd is percent cunning. So not great. Definitely not going to be using it. I am pretty sure at this point that I have killed everything in here, but I will check the catwalks near the start on the way out. I've definitely hit all of the little hidey holes on the way through here, so there's no crabs hidden in the ground that I'm aware of. I think I'll leave that loot as well. Let's get out of here. Overconfidence does mean that I'll probably have to come back and do this again. But that is the price you pay for being confident. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Check these catwalks over here. Usually they're not going to have any enemies on them, but you never know. And we'll probably have one. Yeah, we've got a couple over here. They are not the ones that I needed to kill, so I am relatively confident that I've got all of the pit creepers. Let's get out of here. Alright, we do, of course, have the drops every time Leaf Mane Alpha Horn here. Signet of the Rune Father. You know what? I should probably not be trying to pick up loot while I'm being attacked. And I just need to get up here and get the ward. So we can reactivate that ward. Probably should kill these guys as well. There's too much stuff following me. It's been a while since I've seen this many of these quest items drop. I don't think there was a change in the patch notes. At least I didn't remember reading it. But it certainly feels like there may have been. Anyway, it's fine. I got the ones I needed. I've got the wards. I believe that's all of them. So we just need to get the other pack of lunch travelers, which are going to be down here-ish. So let's go ahead and grab them. And then, unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of conversation pie to have. A couple extra heroes. This is another place where I was always freaking out about Chupacabra spawning. Is just south of these stairs. Down about, I think he was kind of here-ish. I definitely remember being really, really scared of this area. I think a lot of that really was that I was just new to the game, didn't have any good builds, or didn't know how to make characters that were a lot less likely to die. I say as I stand in a bunch of goop. I didn't say I was any better at playing the game, just better at making characters. Alrighty, what do we got? We've got the Void Steel Gauntlet. Mythical this time, so we've got an upgrade. Is it actually an upgrade? It's kind of a side grade. You do lose the Witchblaze proc, actually. It's one of those annoying items where you actually get a worse or no proc. And we got the Venom Tongue Mantle. Level 84 means this is a quote-unquote max level item. Pretty good armor on that. I really need the Aether at the moment, so I can't really use that. Sinister of Spines on that Dermapteran Slicer. I really, really want attack speed, so I won't be using that. Earthbound is a good one. That Earth Ward is actually pretty good. When hit, gives you a bunch of armor and some health regen. It's not Tyrants, though. Tyrants is what I want. Level 84, I'll have to go and farm some more weapons as well. Not yet, though. Not yet. Arcanum, the Soul Thief. That sounds like he might be an arcane. There's too many of this guy in the area. Healing the big nasties. Okay, we can pick up the loot now. Bound Wraith of Caged Souls. I remember searching forever to get one of these. I never did get it, actually. Anyway, let's shove him into the Rift Gate. And we're actually done. So, I'm not going to do any more content on this particular episode. So if you wanted to run away, I may actually do a couple of the Coven quests to... yeah, I'll probably have 2 Coven quests to do. But the content is largely over at this point. Right, let's see, what is it? I've dealt with your pests. Okay, so I was correct. I have already killed all the crabs, which is good. And how the survivors, yeah, the survivors they're dead. They're in the pot. They're being cooked. Alright, talk to old mate. What's the problem? Oh, I have to do Laria as well. Alright, so I am going to do Laria. I am going to do the ward quest for the Coven as well, so there will be actually a couple of quests here, but largely we're done. Alright, let's go get Laria. You can inform Laria that she's being hunted. You don't have to fight her. You will get different reputation if you do, and I do not care for Coven reputation. It is incredibly easy to max it out. Whereas Barrowholm reputation is one of the ones that can be a little bit annoying to get maxed out. So I am going to kill Laria. You definitely can tell her that the Wendigo cult wants her dead, but it just seems like a bad plan. The rewards are less good, let's put it that way. Having said that, there definitely are some people who just straight up refuse to side with Barrowholm because they are cannibals, and that's fair enough as well. Alright, bit of a trek up here. Go talk to Scorv. Scorv with his new hat. It's a pretty sweet looking hat. Okay, she's dead. I will gather the hearts. Alright, I'm probably not going to do that just yet. I think I'll go do the Coven stuff, and then we'll call it done for today. Alright, where are we? Garadia? What do we do next? And yes, absolutely. And what do I need? Dealt with it. Where is the matron? Okay. So, bunch of stuff turned in there. We've got Revered with Ugdenbog, which means we can't use any of these because we're not level 90. But once we get to level 90, elemental resistance problems go away, and so do Pierce and Chaos resistance. Chaos will be solved by the Black Legion stuff. So will Aether. Alright, we picked up a bunch of internal trauma, which I do not like. Internal trauma is a damage type that I really don't want on any build except if I'm focusing on it, and then I'm going to have all of the reflect reduction. I don't have a lot of reflect reduction. I think it actually shows up here somewhere. Am I wrong? Nope, there it is. I have no reflect resistance. So this internal trauma is going to be reflected back at me, and I have 13% resistance to it, and it bypasses my armor. So actually that internal trauma there is kind of scary now that I'm looking at it. Definitely need to get some reflect resistance components going on. Alright, actually I can sell that after. Let's go talk to old love over here. Matron Malostria, let's find out. Yep, already done that. And yes, I will restore the wards for you. Okay. Already found them. Thank you for the reputation, etc. Oh, it's important to kill Laria and go talk to them about it before you do all this. Because if you get to Revered and you've done all their quests, you've turned it all in, and then you go tell Barrowholm about Laria, you will lose reputation with the Coven, and I mean, I got all mine back because I did it this way. It's not the end of the world, but it's an optimization thing you can do. Tell them you killed Laria, and then turn in a bunch of quests to get your reputation back. Seems like a better idea than turn all the quests in, get your reputation maxed out, and then tell them and lose it. Right, we have one more of the wards to do, which is right about here. There we go. Wards complete. Let's go turn it in. I will probably do the fight in here as well. In fact, I definitely will do that, so... Okay, I will protect you. Let's go ahead and begin the ritual. Alright, a couple of waves of basic trash, and then we have some slightly scarier stuff at the end. The hero here is not particularly scary. Where's the basilisk guy? There he is. Stone basilisk. Down he goes. Alright, we got a double rare. We have picked up a Menacing Imperial Star of the Gildum Arcanum, which is actually not bad. It's going to sell for a good deal of money. Okay, so we are now done with her, I believe. Yeah, we're done. No more quests there. And I need... it's got Worm's Mark. Okay, that's fine. Alright, this is actually a good place to stop, so I am going to end the episode here, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.